Great Britain shocked the world by announcing they may recognize a Palestinian state. Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced this will begin in September if Israel does not agree to a ceasefire. He also added that Hamas needs to release all remaining hostages and agree to have no governing power in Gaza. President Trump said he did not discuss this with Starmer. It's a change in stance from the UK. Starmer's facing political pressures from fellow Britons.
The UK could now join France with this recognition. French President Emmanuel Macron recently announced that his nation will recognise an independent Palestinian state. Also, Israel is condemning these moves, saying that they reward Hamas. This is coming at a time when growing malnutrition inside Gaza has sparked global outrage. This month alone, 63 people have been reported to have died from hunger. That includes 24 children under the age of 5. Aid has increased slightly in recent days, but humanitarian organisations say it remains woefully insufficient.
And I talked in my radar about that and how that's unacceptable. And, you can see the images there of people fighting for food in conditions, by the way, that are unsanitary, obviously. And, in addition to just starvation, there's concerns about health and hygiene and disease. Look, now the problem here that recognize a Palestinian state, but one that is not governed by Hamas, is a significant sticking point because I would love to just wave a magic wand and have an independent Palestinian state that is not governed by Hamas, absolutely, but Hamas is not going to agree to that, right? That's the basic problem. So the little caveat he put in there, doesn't that kind of wreck the whole thing, right?
I think it's a symbolic move, which I actually have different kind of reservations about. But it is a symbolic move, I think, in response to public pressure. And what it's about and why the Israelis don't like it is once you recognise Palestinian statehood, you're very explicitly recognising the Palestinian right to self-determination, which Netanyahu doesn't wish to do. He is opposed to the so-called two-state solution. Now, the caveat that I have is different from yours in that Starmer is saying, we will do this. We will recognise a Palestinian state if Israel agrees to a ceasefire, if Israel if Israel doesn't agree to a ceasefire, if Israel doesn't allow aid in, we will recognise a Palestinian state. And my argument would be very simply that Palestinian self-determination
deserve a state either way.
It shouldn't be contingent upon Israel's behaviour. Now, what shape the actual state takes, there's the whole division between the Palestinian Authority, which has a very puny autonomy in the West Bank, and Hamas in Gaza, and how it would actually all operate. Yes, those are legitimate concerns, but I think this is...
And those are some significant details to work out.
Oh, absolutely.
And that is the problem, because I certainly want the Palestinians to have a state, to have their own home, to be free from this brutal conditions they're living in. But Israel is going to take the position that we're not going to allow a neighbor to be created that is run by a terrorist government bent on destroying us that attacked us a year and a half ago or however long it was ago. That's just like reality. I don't really want to be responsible for dictating the terms of their government to them, but given that the government they had just attacked Israel, it is complicated. When I argue about, some people on the left will say it's so simple, it's morally uncompromising. Like, I don't see it that way. I think it's complicated and difficult. I think the Israeli government is very unreasonable in how it's handled this issue. But also Hamas is unreasonable in its goals and the amount of destruction and death it's willing to visit on its own people in order to stay in power. So I don't know what can be done, but yes, ideally I agree that they deserve. I was always for a two-state solution. I support two states, but I don't support a state run by terrorists, obviously.
I just think it is the principle of there being a Palestinian state and the Palestinians having the right to that state that I think is the important thing. And more than 140 nations around the world already recognise Palestinian statehood. This is not some minority position. It's true that France was the first major European power to go there, but it's a widespread view around the world for good reason, I would say.
Next up, a House committee is reportedly probing the EU and the Biden administration over their alleged censorship pressure on Spotify. Stick around for that.